Welcome everybody, in case this is your first time here. Today's episode might be a little bit of a downer.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah.
Yeah, in today's video, we're going to talk about why you may not want to move to Los Angeles unless you can handle these top 9 negatives. So you ready to get into it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
What's up everybody? I'm Adam Rosal. This is my business partner David Fun, and we are the Real Estate Dads coming to you live from Los Angeles, California. If this is your first time at our channel, we do tons and tons of videos of what it's like to live in Los Angeles. The pros, the cons, everything you need to know.
So make sure you hit the subscribe button and tap that bell to get notified every time we drop a new video, because honestly, we get tons of phone calls, emails, texts from people like yourselves looking to relocate and move to Los Angeles, and we absolutely love it. So if you're thinking about making a move or relocating to LA, make sure you reach out any way you want, whether it's phone, email, text, we've got your back. And honestly, what we like even more about living in Los Angeles is helping people make the move to Los Angeles. Okay, as always, we tell it to you like it really is. Adam and I, being born and raised, we know the ins and outs of Los Angeles.
So before you make that decision to move to LA, you need to take a look at these top 9 negatives to see if you can handle moving to LA.
So we'll get into it. All right, so number one, cost of living.
Oh my God.
Now, we've talked about this before. And
we'll talk about it again.
And again.
And again.
And we all know living in Los Angeles is expensive. So you got to be ready and prepared that the cost of living here is going to be probably more expensive than where you're coming from. Although we are number 9.
We are
number 9 in the country.
Right.
So we don't rank number 1, which I think is New York.
Right.
And then I think there's like the rest of the list is San Francisco, San Diego, San Jose, pretty much a lot of other California.
Yeah.
But we are number 9, so we're not the most expensive.
No, we're not.
See, not so bad.
You will still get sticker shock when you get here.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
So let's start with the big one, the cost of buying a home. Right now, the median home sales price in Los Angeles. Now, Los Angeles is huge, so this is just the median for all of the city of LA, $950,000, which even for us as native, we're born and raised, it's still shocking to even hear those numbers, because you know, when we were growing up, we didn't think we lived in these $1 million neighborhoods, and now we do.
Yeah, so basically when you're looking at buying and the average or the median is $950,000, let's round it up to $1 million, you'll need a down payment of $200,000 just to qualify to buy a property here in LA.
Yeah, now the good news is generally you get your better rates with your 20% down.
Sure. There
are programs where you can get in for less, but either way, when you do the numbers and you run your monthly expenses, the cost of living and owning a home here is really expensive. And when we say median home price of $950,000, we're talking about a 3-bedroom, maybe like 1,500 square foot home.
Yeah.
So we're not talking mansions or enormous homes by any means, which again is really tough to swallow when
it's like your starter home that needs a little bit of updating.
Yeah, exactly. And again, this is greater Los Angeles. We'll break down other neighborhoods like Santa Monica and other places within Los Angeles that have a much higher medium price point to enter for buying a home. Now, that's buying. Renting, let's talk about a 1,500 square foot single family home. You're looking at around, again, the median for all of LA is probably around $4,000 just to rent the house. So again, really expensive when you compare it to the rest of the country. Now, LA just doesn't end there with the cost of living. We do have other items here that are a lot more expensive than other areas.
Yeah.
Especially right now with what's going on in the world, gas prices. When we did a video, I think we did I forgot what the video was about, but at the time it was $5 a gallon. Within a matter of a couple of weeks, we are getting closer to $6 a gallon. What's the date today? March.
Today is the 10th.
10th, 2022.
Right.
So hopefully when everything calms down in the world, gas prices will come down, but again, it's still going to be a lot more than what you're used to and where you're coming from in other parts of the country. Other items like groceries, coffee, food, that's all going to be
a moderate increase from,
Yeah.
from where you're coming from, but it's something you'll get used to.
Yeah, again, it's not going to break the bank, but it is
No.
going to be a little bit more. Again, this is all of LA. We will break down neighborhoods. Like if you're in Beverly Hills or Santa Monica, those places, they're going to jack up the prices on you for
Sure.
food.
Sure.
That's for sure. Let's see, what else? Cost of living, utilities. Adam loves to talk utilities.
Oh my goodness! Don't even get me started, but I will get started.
You're getting solar.
I'm getting solar for the main reason that I have a family of 4. We're currently in the tier 3 zone of our electrical use.
Yeah, there's different tiers.
Right. So tier 1 is basic. Tier 2 is probably like an extra kid or extra person living at the house. And tier 3 is just doing laundry nonstop.
By the way, in our house, it was like a game. Can we get to tier 2? It's like impossible. Like with all the amount of laundry and dishes.
I'm not even going to play that game. I just got solar, standardizing our bills. Another sticker shot that we're going through is our gas prices tripled in the last few months. So
what were you paying?
we were paying $50 a month,
Okay.
which is still a lot, you know.
Yep.
And the bill showed up this year at $150, and we're not doing anything different. So the utilities are very expensive, and then obviously water usage in California being a premium, those rates are escalating.
Yeah, and we'll get into water a little bit later, but as Adam mentioned, LA is a desert. I mean, we have the ocean right here, and we've got snow in the mountains a couple hours away, but LA is a desert. It may not look like Phoenix or other parts of Arizona, parts of Nevada, but we are a desert, so we do have problems with natural resources, especially water.
Sure.
So we do get charged a lot more. Going back to gas, the reason why it is such a big issue here in LA is because you pretty much have to drive everywhere. Our transportation system isn't quite there yet.
And we'll touch upon that also.
Absolutely. Yep. So it does add up quick. Plus, we have something called the summer blend in our gasoline prices for our car, which in California, then the prices go up even more. So cost of living, it's a big one. That's number 1 for sure.
Don't say we didn't warn you.
Number 2, traffic.
Oh my God.
It is awful. There's no sugarcoating this one. If you're not cool with sitting in a car for any length of time, especially as a driver, LA may not be the right place for you because our transit system isn't quite there yet. So everyone's in their cars, and we're in a very sprawled out city. 500 square miles. It's huge. And we've got this freeway system that is insane. When you come here, by the way, we talk of freeways so we have the 405, the 10, the 101, the 118, the 170, the 134, you name it, we've got it, the 110.
They're like proper nouns, right?
They're like proper nouns. So there's no really names of freeways, it's just the and the number. And it is just intertwined. It's crazy. It's the artery that keeps LA going, because without it, we'd all be in trouble. But you're pretty much just sitting on it.
Yeah, and we've talked about in the past about how even if you're a couple miles away, you don't talk about your arrival or your ETA in terms of miles. You talk about it in terms of 15, 20, 30, 60 minutes to get from place A to place B.
Yeah, it's all time. There is no miles, how long it is. It's just distance is measured in time here in Los Angeles.
Exactly.
And apps like Waze or Google, I use Waze. What do you use?
Google Maps.
Google Maps. Those become your best friend because they will hopefully route you in the quickest way, which a lot of times seems like you're going way out of the way. There's no point A to point B when you're driving in LA. It's point A to B, C, D, E to get to your destination. It's pretty wild. The only thing is, I say if you're big podcast listeners or you love music.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can totally use this time to learn a language.
Yeah.
Or just catch up on any story on podcasts. I mean, remember I used to listen to, what was that
Are you talking about the murder one?
Yes.
Oh man, it was.
I forgot what that was called. Adnan Syed.
Yeah. Man, I forgot the name of it. It was
Serial.
Serial.
Yeah.
I think that's when I started getting into podcasts, and I was like, all right, now I won't be so crazy on the road. Now, born and raised, we're used to this. We've kind of grown up in this, so we're accustomed to it, but to a point. Like, basically, in Los Angeles, you don't have rush hour. You have like free hours, because from essentially 8 a.m. to, let's say, 11 a.m., it's packed bumper to bumper on the streets and on the freeways. Between 11 and 2, that's like your free time. That's go time. That's if you got something to do or you got somewhere far to go, schedule during those times.
Yeah.
Because after 2 hits, from 2 to like 8, you're sitting in traffic again.
Yeah. I always try to schedule my day by going to the farthest destination first and then working my way back. Traffic is a pain. You start to plan out your day by estimating that you need 30 minutes to get from point A to point B, and then adding a 15-minute buffer in between that. So definitely, when you come out to LA, plan ahead.
Yeah, especially if there's a car accident or
Right.
something that blocks one lane on the freeway, it is over. So be prepared for traffic. If you're not going to be able to handle the traffic, grab an Uber, a Lyft. Maybe you can handle a little bit more as a passenger, but it is not getting any better anytime soon. The city's working on it, but it's a beast, so be ready. Okay, we just got done finishing talking about how traffic is crazy. Now we're on number 3, which leads into, we have a pretty poor public transportation system. Now, it is getting better, but as we talked about, we are a car culture, so you're in your cars, whether you're driving or you're a passenger in one of those Lyfts or Ubers. Either way, it's hard to avoid, you gotta get these words out, hard to avoid being out of your car. Now, we do have bus lines like the orange line, the red line, the gold line, and whatever other colors you can think of that's trying to connect the city. We also have the Exposition rail line, which was a rail line way back, in the 40s and 50s or so. Those lines went dead for a while, and they've revived them in the last 5 or 7 years. That's connecting like the beach to downtown and all the areas in between. But honestly, not that many people are using it.
Yeah, it's definitely a work in progress. But if you're coming from New York or even Northern
Boston,
California, where they have the BART system up north,
Yeah.
Our infrastructure does not have a public transport system like that.
Not at all.
Not at all.
No.
Not even close.
So we're trying here, and again, this Exposition line, which was a big deal for us in Los Angeles when they were talking about it, and it is up and running. The idea, I think, is cool for a lot of people.
It's there. It's starting to develop. It's just we are born and bred car enthusiasts.
Absolutely.
Even though we complain about traffic, I mean, I'd rather be alone listening to whatever I want in my car than just on public transportation.
Yeah. So if you're someone who uses a lot of public transportation, be ready for a little bit of a headache, because even when you take the light rail systems that we have, and we do have some underground systems as well, but they don't really take you to where you need to go. They take you somewhere, and then you still either have to walk a ton of blocks or jump into a taxi, Uber, Lyft to get where you really need to go, because it still doesn't.
Or Bird. We got scooters. We've got some things to help.
That's true. I totally forgot about the
Bird scooters.
What else? The Bird. What's the other one? Lime.
Yes.
There's a couple other things. You've probably seen it wherever you're living now, but we do have a scooter system, a pay per scoot.
Yeah.
And the crazy, you see these scooters laying everywhere, even residential neighborhoods, in front of people's homes. It's actually become a bit of business for people to pick them up and charge them and make money. But that's another story.
Those people are called bird hunters. I think it's fantastic.
Now that you have solar,
I know, right?
Yeah, start it up. But yes, we do have the scooters that can take you once you get to your destination after taking some transportation. Now, there is some talks, and it's supposedly in the works, that they're going to run a rail line
up into your hand.
up and down the 405 freeway right in the middle. I can't even imagine the nightmare that it's going to cause traffic-wise if and whenever that gets built.
Why are you getting their hopes up? I mean,
They're talking about
there's
it.
a lot of red tape.
There's a lot of red tape. But
It may come, it may not come.
if it does, it could be interesting. I don't know if I'd take it, but, you know, if you're expecting some sort of cool transportation system, throw it out the window. We don't have it. So, again, get ready for a lot of cars. All right, we're on number 4. All this pretty much ties into together, but we're a very sprawled out city. As I mentioned earlier.
How many miles? How many square miles?
I was just going to say, I like to say this a lot, 500 square miles for the city of LA. And the crazy part is LA encompasses other cities. Like we've swallowed other areas. There are cities within our city. So we have like Culver City, Santa Monica is a separate city, Beverly Hills, Redondo Beach, Manhattan Beach, Torrance. All of these cities are within
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. This is what we call LA proper, or not LA proper, just LA, greater LA. We're a massive city and we're completely sprawled out. And again, that has everything to do with why we have to drive everywhere. It takes forever and our transit system is not what it needs to be. But the other part that comes with this is it's kind of hard to connect everybody within the city.
Yeah, it is, and that's being sprawled out makes it very difficult when you live over here and your work's over there and your friends are over there and the place you want to go eat is over here. So it's like you are driving a lot, and it does take its toll with it being all over the place.
Yeah, and like to give you an example, so I grew up in a neighborhood called Mar Vista, which we'll get into, and then moved to the San Fernando Valley, Encino specifically, which is it's 14 miles away, but sometimes that can take up to 45 minutes, even an hour, which is crazy.
And ask him what the climate difference is by moving 14 miles away. Ask him. Just shoot him a text.
Yeah.
He likes it. At 9 o'clock.
If you really want to know the answer, comment below, and I will give that to you because it's quite startling. But what happened was when we moved there, we thought, okay, we're still going to stay in touch with we're going to my wife and I coached at Mar Vista Park. We're still going to coach there. None of that happened. We were like, there's no way we're going to commute that far or that long to go coach somewhere. Instead, we just kind of lifted up our roots and set them somewhere else. Even though it's 14 miles away, it takes forever to get anywhere. And so we kind of lost touch with people that we were hanging out over there. The good news is you jump into another community and you just kind of create another one. But it is tough to kind of stay in touch with people when you're so sprawled out. And sometimes you don't even get to realize how cool the city is because it's so far away that you don't really think about traveling an hour or maybe 2 hours to get to the other end of the city, even though there's some really cool things to do.
You can try calling the people that you've lost touch with.
I mean,
just reach out, call, text, email.
Kind of like what we asked you to do for us here.
Subscribe.
So yeah, it's pretty wild, and each part of LA has its own little subsection, like the Valley, the South Bay. You've got South Los Angeles. You've got the eastern part, East LA. It's
funny.
West LA.
It's funny you talk about how you moved 14 miles and you've lost touch, because I've got friends who I went to college with who grew up in the area that I grew up with, and we kind of went in opposite directions, and I hear it from them and they're like, yeah, I'm never gonna see you. And I'm like,
but we're in the same city.
We're in the same county. We're the same area code, but it's literally a 45-minute drive is a big deal, and it's a deterrent. That's when you're sprawled out, you're like, is it really worth it to drive out 45 minutes? Yeah. I'll call you.
Yeah, I'll call you. We'll Zoom.
We'll Zoom. Right.
But yeah,
FaceTime.
Just be ready for the sprawled out city with different pockets, and they kind of have their own little culture within the city of Los Angeles. So just kind of be a little bit prepared for that.
It also really ties into how we help people place themselves. It's like, okay, what's your main reason for picking this specific area? Is it close to friends? Is it close to family? Is it close to work?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it's like, yes, the city is sprawled out, but we want to keep you in an area where you're going to be happy.
Right, exactly.